As for this little moment, decided I'd come back on, and as I'm recording, I haven't uploaded any of my videos yet, but the other two will be uploaded by the time this one is, and that will be the time when you will see it. But I just wanted to come back on to do a little further demonstration as to how this fox works, and you kind of see how I got the front legs in place and the back legs sewn up. Well, this is a moment when I'm going to come on and try to take care of these two front legs in a way where we have the long little string or strand of thread we are going to use, and go ahead and make the knot we make at the beginning so that it shall stay in its place as we go about this. And so this is how we're going to take it along, and then the rest of the way we go is like this. We've already kind of made these little places here where we've sewn together at the tail where it connects to the two backs of the hind legs. So this is where we're going to go a little further along. We're going to sew out one leg as we've got here, and then kind of take it to where, as we've done all along, we've made the little lines it right in the places where they shall go, and then kind of make it where we are kind of seeing the lines as they shall take us along, see how we do, where we go, what it's going to be, and then this is where it comes down and we see that we're going to go all the way up to where the knot is located at the stuff hole. So with this work coming this way along, make it so we take it along, take it further, see how it goes, see what it does, and then get to the point where we come towards the end, make it so we see the way that it is going to be. Good thing we got a really long piece of thread here, because this is where it shall come along to stay. Make it so we see a little blessed day coming approaching us, and bless the world, I say. Oh, sometimes I say that there's moments where we kind of get more serious because we got so much more to deal with in life, but this is where the little place comes along, taking care of the little work where we take it to be. And then there's just little times when we're going to take it back around, show a little skill, show a little nerve. Oh, and I say that this is just a light amount of work to do for ourselves. I say in our lives, we all got little work to go about, little jobs to go about, little things to work about. So it just kind of takes us all different levels, different times, different thoughts. This way we come along, make it so we're going to make the rest of the lines go along till we kind of come down to what it shall finally be, and then put the little place in the slots where it's gonna come up all good and even, all the way, I say. You know, this little time when we all go a little ways, make it so we just finally will get it down in a little work where we see that there's just so much, so much, so much. I'd like to tell y'all a little story about little things I learned last night. I was at one of my local city pools, which is like a thing I've done for years in the summertime, was go to city pools, and I'm learning new things this year, like when they have break time at the pools, that break time applies to adults as well. That's one of the things that is among the things that finding out this year. It was a little bit of a surprise to me, but did kind of find out it was just a new law that they passed. You know, we know that anytime they pass a new law about something, there's just always a reason why. And it's always just something that happens just to teach us all little things in life that we wouldn't otherwise know. I think these days, you know, I hear that there gets to be shortage of employment in more places, shortage of staff in more places, and you know, I'm a little older than I was, so comes along to the way I just see things now, and you know how times and customs can change a little bit. And even for me, it's like there's probably just a little bit of work I might do online. I do my 3 hours of work a day in a school cafeteria, but also just kind of do my business online, things like that. There's just so many more ways we can work, so many interesting more ways. Kind of gotta put the thread back through the needle. We had the needle come off the thread here a little bit. So I'd say that this little line of work shall show us the feel of what we do and take us so that we all know that bright and shiny days shall come, and make it so we'll just see how the work can just be able to come right along. I say, as of all things we do, we shall work our way around, make it so we see the brighter days, the brighter things of life, and sometimes, just sometimes, little traps are going to fall for the better. We know that we work our way along here, try to find ways to join our forces and try to brighten days for the future. We know that it's all good and well when it comes down to what we know and who we know, all that we do for ourselves and others, and make us all be happier people. Now, as you see, I've already gone up to the stuff hole on here and coming my way back. This was kind of, I'd say, the second leg that I work on here. We finally got both of the hind legs in place, sewn together as they need to be, and then kind of work it along. so take it on and make us see a little brighter light in us. Oh, work, I say. Oh, time we work ourselves so much. There's been times in my life I've been a little overworked before, and I'd say it always does us a little good just to get a little break for the things we need to do and the things we ought to do. I say that we got a little knot in place here. We're coming down to the point where we got other knots in the fabric and kind of make it so we get them in place. Good work here. I want to say that there's a little place where we're going to come now. We've already gotten this much sewn up on the chin and this much on the forehead, so it comes a little moment when it's time for us to come in and start a little bit up at the tip of the nose. That's one of the places where we start sometimes when we come on these fox projects, and then finally make the line and finally pull the knot right through. I say that, wow, a lot of work shall come. Wow, this is going to be a lot of things. Wow, this is going to come up with a little knot in the thread here. And so I decided to take a little moment, take a little sip there. And as for going the rest of this way, got a little more to do. Since there's a little bit less on the forehead than there is on the chin, we're going to go up the front of the face, up the front of the nose, up to where the little stitches have been made along up to the forehead, and take that line up to where it needs to be. Finally, make it so we get there in time. Show how a little work shall show us a little ways, and then we see that we come back around, make it so we're coming down to the point where we get back up to the front of the nose, try to put a little stitch in there, try to make it so a little stitch is going to come a long way, and then as a matter of fact it's going to show itself true to us, to who we are, to what we do. I say that little times in life shall make their way to us, and in all things I say that this is just the work as of how it's going to come. We see that this is just how the little fox shall make its way along. It makes me think of some story I read as a kid. I can't even remember what the name of it was, but it was kind of a story about a fox and a rabbit. They were kind of like friends, and oh, I tell you, the thing is that the rabbit built a hut of bark and the hot fox built a hut of ice, and the ice melted, so the fox chased the rabbit out of its little bark hut, and there was probably more than one creature that tried to get the fox out of the rabbit's hut, but one of them that came along was the owl, and the owl threatened to chop off the fox's head if it didn't come out of the rabbit's house. And then finally the fox came out, and it fled its way. So we just see that it's just little interesting reads we had as a kid, and there was no internet back in those days, so whatever we read as a kid, we got it from the library and read it. It's pretty much the way it was then, and how it's pretty much just going to be. We see that there's so much we find, so much we learn. I tell y'all that this little way of doing it just makes right its way to me. I tell y'all that there's another place here. We're going to put a little work along too. You see where there's this point at the tip of the tail? We're going to kind of put a little thread through that to kind of hold it in place where it needs to be. We're going to put a knot right about there to try to hold that all together. And normally this would be a place where you'd stop and go to another spot, but since we have so much extra thread on the strand, we're going to go a little further up, kind of just so we don't waste any, and it's not long enough to go a far way up, so we can at least go up this far, up a little bit further, just to make a little line at the end where we can kind of save ourselves from a little more sewing when it comes to doing the rest of it and the rest of the places further up the fox. And then we're going to have little lines here where they're going to come in, make it so we'll see a little brighter days, brighter lights, brighter nights. And I tell you all that this little place, how this comes along, see, make it so we do this, and finally, what we go next, we just did the underside of the tail here. We kind of take it the rest of the way back up to where the tip of the point is, and take it in, put it through, finally just make another little knot to go in right here, and that's where it ends. That's where it goes. Do think that we probably got enough time for this video. I'd say that there's probably going to be another step to take along further here. Maybe we'll take a moment just to rethread the needle and put the rest of the little work to come along here into the product. I say that this little time in my life, it got a little work and nerve, and so we make the little place just where it needs to be, just where it needs to go, and finally we've got it in a good place. We got a good knot on the end of the thread. I think we're going to come along next time on the video and go along the tail and go along the back, and that'll probably be about the place where we can almost come to an end. Thank you again for watching. Take care. Goodbye.